October 17th, 2024, the sun and the moon are in opposition to one another in our sky, making it a full moon happening in the fire sign of Aries. This is our third supermoon in a row, meaning it's intense. So not only is it intense because it's a full fire moon, but it also is a supermoon. Stay with me in this video because I'll be breaking it down for us. Welcome, beloved souls. My name is Vivia from Your Soul's Well. I would like to first thank Nadiya, Shah, and her team for welcoming me back to do another breakdown of the full moon. And this one is quite a tense one. Let's look at the chart, shall we? Okay, with every full moon, you always have the moon and the sun in opposition to one another. Here's the sun at 24 degrees and 35 minutes of Libra, and right across it we have the moon at 24 degrees and 35 minutes of Aries. So let's break down these qualities, right? Or the characteristics associated with Aries. It's fiery, it can be temperamental, it's impulsive, it's a pioneer. It likes to initiate things. It can be crisis oriented because it's ruled here by this Mars, right? It's ruled by this Mars, which currently is in Cancer. And if you watch my last video on this channel, I spoke to this Mars as being, you know, it can be passive aggressive in that the Mars is an action oriented planet that can even be conflict driven. In our own natal charts, it represents how we go about achieving our goals, how we action things, our willpower, our own fire. And when it's in a water sign, I always just see Mars drowning in water. And what can happen is we can have a suppression of emotion, of that energy to express conflict. And so with this kind of Mars, we want to find really constructive ways, obviously, to work out problems, work out conflict. Mars really likes physicality, right? The aspect pattern in the sky, the moment of the full moon, is a cardinal grand cross. So you can see that it's 4 squares. So the sun and the moon opposite each other, and Mars opposite to Pluto. And so this is on the 17th. You can see the date up here, October 17th. I cast the chart for the West Coast. So at 4:27 a.m., it will come into exactment. The moon will exact its opposition to the sun in the sky, creating a square with Pluto and a square with Mars. And Mars is also squaring the sun. So there's 4 squares involved, and that is what is a grand cross or a cardinal square. So the opposition between Aries, which is the I am, self-centered, pioneering, initiative, that kind of fire, to the sun in Libra, which is about the other, wants harmony, wants balance, can be a people pleaser, can, give self away too much to others in order to keep the harmony and keep the balance. And then here is this full moon. Now, remember, full moons are culminations. It's when the moon is coming to its peak culmination, its peak force. When it's full, being able to expose things that were previously hidden, right? Things that were not visible. Go back to that time in your life and see if you can remember what was happening then for you, right around, well, it was March 8th that the new moon in Aries happened. It happened to be a solar eclipse. It was at 19 degrees and 24 minutes of Aries, right? So the same here, just right here, it would have been right here. So something that was seeded then is coming now to fruition. It's being highlighted. So something that happened then, just think back and look back at that pattern or what happened there, and it's now being highlighted. So definitely on the mundane level, it means one thing, but on this video, I will speak to how it could affect us more on an individual level. So on the individual level in our own lives, we will look here in this video to where this full moon is showing up in your chart, in which house. It will show us what area is being highlighted and what is being shown, right? So the moon coming into its fullest culmination information showing us, because the moon, obviously it represents many things. Like I said, in the mundane chart, it can represent the people, it can represent our bodies, it can represent women in our lives, definitely our emotions. So I think that the emotions will be running high, definitely, and definitely a lot of tension, because the moon is in square to both Mars and Pluto. And that Mars and Pluto coming into opposition with one another is going to exact on, so November, right around the elections in the United States, is when we're going to see Pluto and Mars oppose each other. And that's a very tense, volatile energy. So, and it's right at the election time, probably one of the most heated, contentious elections that we've seen. And a lot is hinging on it. And that's making people very, there's a lot of anxiety around this, right? And a lot of polarization, obviously. So, but with the moon squaring both of these planets and the moon squaring the ruler of Aries, that makes this a very tense and squares our challenges that we have to work through, that help us build our character and help us develop ourselves. And there are always points that we have to work on, right? Now, the moon is very close here as well to Chiron. It's co-present with Chiron. It's really conjuncted. And Chiron is known as the wounded healer. So there's healing here for us in this. It's healing around this culmination of this moon. It's healing around the wound. There's a wound here that needs to be healed. Again, on the mundane level, it's a collective one for the people because it's involving the moon. But with Chiron here in your own chart and the moon conjuncting it, we'll look at the wound and where that lies in your chart. And we'll look at the square as well in your chart, the opposition of the moon and Chiron to the sun and then the Mars. So some of the things to keep in mind as we go about this. Earlier this month, there were some major planetary shifts. First, right before this, on October 9th, Jupiter stationed retrograde in Gemini. And then right after that, on October 11th, Pluto stationed direct. So Pluto has just come out of its retrogression. It will stay direct up until next year when it moves retrograde again. And that's not going to happen for quite a while. It's not going to happen until May of next year. And we're going to also see Pluto move back into the sign of Aquarius, where it will remain for the next 20 years. So that's a really huge shift for all of us, for all the collective. And then Jupiter moving retrograde. Retrogradations are always about reviewing things, going back over things, perhaps revamping things. And a lot of this is going to do with our own mind, our own thoughts, our communication processes, because that is Gemini. And Jupiter always deals with some type of higher learning, higher understanding, and our own faith, our own beliefs, the systems that are belief systems, right? So changing that scene for us in our own minds and how we perceive reality, and the lots of changes for us coming this way. Venus is in opposition to Uranus, where Algo is still stationed as Uranus moves retrograde. So in our own lives, there could be sudden changes because Venus, of course, is the relational planet that rules over, love and affection, and also women and females in our charts. We can look to Venus and love affairs. So maybe sudden and shocking changes with that we weren't expecting. It could be for the good, though. It could be relationships starting out of the blue. Remember that Pluto is oftentimes very internal. It deals with our psychology, the depths of our psyche. And so with Pluto opposing Mars in our own chart, it could be very subtle things, because Pluto can be subtle and internal. And Mars in Cancer could be, we'll look at the chart, we'll look at where it lies in your chart, but Mars in Cancer can oftentimes be that way, right? Because Cancer, if you look at the archetype of Cancer and what it represents, it's regardless of where it is in your chart, it's going to be different in your chart. But Cancer itself represents the home and security, and it represents, the foundation. It represents mothering, right? Like how we construct boundaries for ourselves, for our like safe safety mechanisms, right? And so that's how I often see Mars there too. So even though Mars can be such an action-oriented planet, it could be something really internal and not really that external. But what you do have to watch for always with Mars in water is making sure to find ways to constructively express conflict, anger, really suppressed emotions that are Mars orientated. Because whenever something is suppressed, let's remember it doesn't go away, right? And then that's when you can explode. That's when things can come out, especially with the Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, because Gemini is all about communication and media, social media, trying to suppress something, and then all of a sudden you might just explode and end up saying what you feel is the wrong thing. That's just something to be really aware of. So we're going to start with you, Aries. When Aries is on your ascendant, of course you can read this from your sun, your moon, your ascendant. Ascendant is always going to be more accurate because then it places the moon in your first house. So when you have the moon shining right here in your first house, Aries, this is just all about you. It's about highlighting, bringing emphasis to you, so there's a culmination here of energy in your first house. So it's illuminating things about yourself, how you drive things forward, your willpower, maybe your assertion, if you're being direct enough, right? Direct. And right now it might be difficult because the sun being illuminated here may be showing you that you need to express more and need to work things out in a way that is beneficial and less conflict orientated. Like you might be submerging it because there's that, your planet, your main planet here is Mars, and it's in Cancer. So it's all about learning how to work through difficulty in a very constructive way. It could be affecting your home because this is the fourth house, and that's where your Mars placement is, and it's opposition to Pluto up in your 10th house. So this is something very public for you happening here. Some type of public transformation. Maybe that volatility is going to come through with something happening with your career or how you're seen in the public. It could be your work, if your work is related to being seen visibly, right? So that's where Pluto is in opposition to Mars. Full moon is here in your first house. So your body, yourself, any of those things can go through changes. First house here with the moon is spotlighting, is all about you, your identity, right? How others see you. It could be the mask that you put on, or how you grow, being more visible, how you grow into that ascent, how you ascend, right, in life. And it's all about your identity. So really, this is really going to affect you, Aries. It's going to have, I think, a very profound effect on you, especially with that Mars in your fourth house opposite the Pluto in your 10th. And then the Grand Cross involves your first house of self, seventh house of other. So maybe somebody else is somebody very important to you, a very significant other is highlighting something for you in your life, shining the light right on you. Maybe some habits or how you identify, or maybe somehow suppression of anger and just being very public. That's what I see there for you. Just remember that it's a transformative energy, right? The energy of fire can bring us into crisis, but it's always about pursuing the higher goals and being able to evolve through it for our highest good. So something is being illuminated for you, beloved Aries, and it's going to involve very much yourself, and you will be really moved by this. So it's a culmination, an ending of something, an ending of a cycle for you that will deal with some type of wound that is here, how you identify and how you relate with others. And that's square here with Mars and Pluto. Some very, so the root of your chart, this wound, maybe a wound from childhood or some type of the mother wound rearing its head up for you to see. Okay, Aries, beloved Aries, thanks for listening. Please find me on my channel at Your Soul as well if you would like a more in-depth report. Taurus rising, sun or moon. So Taurus rising, the full moon is here in your 12th house opposite to your sun in the 6th house. And it's highlighting for you things that are very subconscious. Okay. So it's bringing to light that area of your chart and what is happening for you in the 12th house. The 12th house can deal with a lot of different things regarding foreign lands, foreign foreign travels, foreigners, foreign investments, revenue from foreign, like, so this is highlighting this area. So, and because it is squaring Mars here in your third house of your immediate family, friends, community, communication, media, technology, and then also it's squaring here. Keep in mind that I changed the time here to get the ascendant right. This moon is still at 24 degrees and 35 minutes of Aries, regardless of what this says, and it's fully opposing the sun at the same degree. Now, so it is squaring here to Pluto in your ninth house, which is the higher mind, it's philosophy, it's our belief system, and it's the moon is also squaring here to Mars, which in turn is squaring the sun. So that's where your grand cross is. It's right there. So that to me tells me that it's like communication, highlighting communication and bringing to light, here with Mars here, and understanding how to work through problems with your immediate environment, the people there, right? Because the sun is here, the people in this environment, communication, and then it's this powerful dynamic tension between these two planets that is going to highlight, it's playing in here, it's going to highlight energy for you that is very subconscious. It could have to do with things from your past lineage, family of origin stuff, because that's the 12th house. That's what that shows me when I look at that, and ancestry stuff and wounding. This is like wounding, the ancestral wounding, and looking at ending and completing patterns around any type of ancestral wound. And it's kind of like a daily habit thing for you, because it's the sun here shining in your 6th house, directly opposing it. So the house of habits. So maybe giving up some habits. The 12th house is ordinarily the Piscean house, which can deal with addictions, right? It can deal perhaps with using substances or anything really, but this is very broadly speaking. And with the sun here, it's showing this emphasis of the daily habits and what to do on a day-to-day basis, and the energy coming in from Pluto and from Mars, just really contributing to this 12th house, this very deep and psychological house that wants transformation. And that's where the visibility and that's where the culmination is for you. So endings of cycles with ancestral lineages is what I see. Okay, beloved Taurus, please follow me at your soul's well if you would like more in-depth and regular content on your sign. Gemini sun, moon, or rising, especially rising, you have the moon being highlighted here, the full moon in your 11th house of groups, organizations, communities, friend groups. Your higher house of money is here too, the house of fulfillment of dreams and our wishes. So things being highlighted here that are coming to a culmination, and things being visible here that perhaps you couldn't see before. So maybe some truths being revealed about some friendships that you're in, or friend groups, or anything to do with larger communities in a whole, any type of online community is going to be here. But sometimes too, it could be some type of, if you make some type of money online, something here is being highlighted. That's where Chiron is conjuncting here with the moon, and it is going to be bringing to light some type of wound with communities, with your groups, your friends. And the sun here is in your 5th house of speculation, gambling, romance. So something to do with some type, it could be adventure as well, something to do with another, your family, if you have children, this could involve your children. It could involve a love affair. It could involve some type of financial risk, or something to do if you're an entrepreneur and you have an online community. That could be what it is. It's squaring Mars in your 2nd house, opposing Pluto in your 8th house. So the 8th house is all about other people's money and resources, and your 2nd house is all about your resources, how you resource yourself, if you make money yourself. So something very volatile, probably to do with other people, groups, communities. If you made investments somehow with other people, if your significant other, maybe because this is the house of your significant other's investments, or if your significant other is involved with you somehow in a business deals, right? Business affairs. Mars, this might come to a head. Maybe there's going to be difficulty there and dispute there, and you have to learn how to work that out in a reasonable fashion, in a way that's constructive, in a way that benefits all parties. So that's what I see there. Okay. And the wound and the healing is here in your 11th, and through something ending with some community that you belong to, some group of friends, something online. All right, beloved Gemini, I thank you for listening. I hope that you follow me on my channel at Your Soul's Well. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and especially rising, because if you have Cancer on the rising or on the ascendant, the moon is here in your 10th house, your very visible house of public recognition. It could be your career. It's just what you're known for. Even if you don't have a career, you might not have a career. You might be retired. You might just not work outside your home. And that's not even what this house means, just what you are known for in the world. So when you have the moon there and it's the full moon, something here is coming to a culmination, and it's coming to an end, and things are being shown to you that perhaps you didn't see before. So something very public, because it is your very public house, and Chiron is here, right? So this Chiron wound is aspecting this moon by conjunction. The moon is actually at 24 degrees it looks closer in this chart, but nonetheless, the healing, the wound is here, right? The wound of being seen, perhaps something how you were seen before is no longer necessarily, it's not as valid as the word that is coming to mind. It's changing, it's shifting for you. Remember that the sun is here in Libra, in the opposite house of the home. So something to do with your home life is spotlighting this moon in your 10th, and it's asking you to look at that and asking you to look at some type of wound around this. And then the square to Mars is in your first house in Cancer, and so this Mars in Cancer wants you to work out conflict in a constructive way when it has to do with yourself, right? And so the square is here, and then the moon's also squaring here, which is opposing squaring Pluto here, which is opposing Mars in your first house, and Pluto is in your house of other. So conflict and tension with other people. It could be your significant other, your spouse, if you have one, business partnerships, any kind of partnerships. It could be your it's the online marketplace, or rather the marketplace. If you sell things or are in relational activity with other people when it comes to any type of business rapport, this is this house. So Pluto is here, and it wants to transform this house one last go into Capricorn. It's already moving direct, right? And it's going to move back into your 8th house. But right now it's one last time here in your 7th house, offering potent transformation with business partnerships in general that will also affect you, because you've got Mars in your first house, and it's asking you to look at how to resolve conflict when it deals with, and this could be an internal challenge for you, because this is in your first house. So asking you to look at maybe even how you perceive self, or how you orient yourself and how you move forward. It could really have an effect on how you present yourself, how you show up in the world, how other people perceive you. So that's where the square is in your life. It's right here, and something ending here, some type of healing coming through recognition, through career, or how you're seen in the world. So a big transformation happening for you there. Beloved Cancer, thank you for listening. I hope that you catch me on my channel at Your Soul's Well, where I will continue to break this down further. Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising is especially rising, because when you have Leo on the ascendant, it places the moon here in your 9th house of your belief system, a philosophy of higher learning, of higher education, foreign travels, foreign lands, foreigners, cultures, our higher mind, right? Our higher mind is here, the higher house of philosophy, learning, and values in terms of our belief system. And so something is being shown to you here about how you perceive your reality, or your internal belief systems, and the things that I feel like it's like deconstructing it, because it's here and squaring Pluto here opposite to Mars. Mars is in your 12th house, a very psychic and internal house. And then with Pluto in the day-to-day life, something to do with the day-to-day workings of breaking down what is necessary to really get to a higher point, and something being revealed to you here in your 9th house, something within creating your own constructs of beliefs, maybe eliminating some negative beliefs or beliefs that are detrimental to your own growth and to sustain your own path forward. That's where the wound is, right? Because Chiron is here and Chiron is the wound. So for you, the wounding is in the belief and the beliefs that you've carried through. Like I see this with the Mars in Cancer, because Cancer is the womb, right? And it's right now placed in your 12th house. So I just have this impression that this chart in this moment is signaling me to talk to you about looking at like it's so like these invisible forces that come in and help us to direct our lives in ways that we weren't necessarily expecting. The sun is here in your 3rd house, so this illumination might come from somebody very close to you, like the closest circle of people that you have, whether they're your best friends or your immediate community around you, or siblings or cousins or aunties or uncles. It could be through media or communication or some type of information, like a sudden news bolt coming in. It's just that's where the cardinal crosses for you. It's this here, this sun opposing the moon here, and Mars opposing Pluto here. So illumination and healing here through higher belief systems, holding the light for yourself and believing in a higher path for yourself is going to be really important. Okay, Leo, beloved Leo, thank you for listening. I hope you follow me on your soul's well. Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, especially rising, because when you have Virgo on the rising, it places the moon here in your 8th house of other people, their resources, right? It could be your partner, it could be like a marriage partner, or significant other, or any type of, it could be a business partner, any type of partnership and resources outside of yourself, investments, mortgages, debt, that kind of thing is in here. So it's highlighting something for you. It's coming to a culmination here for you in this house that has a lot of depth to it, because it's normally ruled by Scorpio. So there's depth here, a lot of hidden things coming to light for you, and maybe things you didn't see coming. Maybe it's something, and it's something to heal, right? Because this is where Chiron is. Chiron is here with the moon, and it's a healing. And then there's the moon squaring it from your 11th house of higher groups of organizations, friends, communities of friends, your higher house of money. And then Pluto here in your 5th house of risk-taking, entrepreneurship, romance, adventure. And then the sun is here in your 2nd house. So this is involving, it's involving money for sure. I just see it as involving money, investments, things coming to light, risks, maybe risks that you took or risks that you're going to take that might not really end up the way that you want, and some type of volatility, something being exposed, something being shown. Because remember that Pluto deals with power and control and corruption, and Mars is that explosive force. And right now with Mars in Cancer, it's really kind of like dims Cancer, right? And so if we're not actively working to work out the anger, whatever's in us, right, then it can explode. So that's something that you have to do. So try to do what you need to do to work out any type of conflict or any suppressed anger, so that it doesn't all of a sudden explode and create more havoc. So something being shown, and it's not necessarily bad. It could be something that's been hidden from you, but it could be something that you all of a sudden see that you couldn't see before, in terms of investment, how to invest somewhere to do the right thing with money, how to procure money for yourself moving forward, a new idea, right? Because this is the sun in your 2nd house, and the 2nd house is how we resource ourselves, how we can make our own money, right? But it's shining here, so an ending here and a healing. So if it is ending some type of money that is coming in from the other, it's going to be a benefit for you, because Chiron is involved. So it's going to be a deep healing involved, because the 8th house is always about our psychology as well, and it's always very deep. All right, beloved Virgo, thank you for listening, and I hope you catch me on my channel at Your Soul's Well, where I can break down more of your astrology. Libra, sun, moon, or rising, especially rising, because if Libra is on the ascendant, that places the moon here in your 7th house. So the moon is here in your 7th house, coming to a culmination and showing something to you about your relationships, about the people in front of you, about business partnerships in general, about the marketplace. If you have a business and it's that's your immediate audience, right? So this is showing something to you that wasn't visible to you before. And whatever comes of this is going to help you heal, because this is where Chiron is placed. This conjunction with the moon and Chiron is here in your 7th house of other and of contracts. The sun is here in your 1st house, illuminating across here, the moon. So it's in your 1st house in Libra. And so happy birthday, by the way, all the Libras out there. Let's not forget that. But the sun here in your 1st house has been illuminating your 1st house and just bringing it to life, and like it does every year at this time of year, and bringing energy here for you, reigniting this area for you again. And it's helping you see something in your 7th house that involves yourself, how you also, maybe it's how you project yourself, and maybe other people are showing that to you with Chiron there. And then the square is here. It's Mars in your 10th house. So very visible and public house, something to do with your reputation, something to do with your career, something to do with, it's just, and then, well, with it opposing Pluto in your 4th. So there's going to be tension between home and work. And with Mars there and Cancer, I just see a great need to really be able to constructively work out feelings and express anger and express any type of regressed or suppressed information, right? Emotion. It's important to feel it and to constructively work through it. If that means talking it out, if that means going to the gym, if that means, hitting a punching bag, whatever that means, so that the explosion doesn't happen here in your 10th house, this very public house, figuring out a way to work it out. And there's going to be this tension between your home. So something to do with your home and your foundation. So your inner security maybe is being challenged. It could be something to do with your actual physical house, like renovations or movement, like transforming it through renovations, or, like some type of transformation with Pluto there in your 4th house, but that it's ultimately transmitting or transforming you as well through the process of excavation and depth. And it is here at the foundation of your chart, just really asking you to be very cognizant of what's happening for you. It's like emotional security is coming up, transforming through emotional security, using it here with Chiron and other relationships, the self. Okay. Again, mother wound comes up when I see this here, and using it to heal and understanding that the stuff that comes up here is about your foundation, and it's about really working through, finding ways to constructively work through any type of energy that is permitting you from being as stable as possible. That's what I see. Thank you, beloved Libra, for listening. I hope you follow me at your soul as well for more in-depth breakdown of your chart. All right, Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, especially rising, because when you have a Scorpio on the ascendant, places the moon in your 6th house. Okay. The moon and Chiron are sitting here together, conjuncting in your 6th house of everyday habits. Small pets are here as well. Constructive habits is coming to mind. Constructive habits, dealing with health. When I see this, I think of a health crisis. Remember that both this moon in Aries as well as this Scorpio are ruled by Mars, and Mars is very, it can be crisis orientated, because it's all about survival, right? So there's a certain crisis orientation, especially when I look here with the 6th house and the sun here in the 12th shining. So the sun in your 12th house, bringing some type of information to the moon here in your 6th house of daily habits, and consistently working at constructive daily habits towards health and towards healthy living and towards healthy habits. This also is your house if you work at a job, if you're an employee, or if you have employees, if you have small pets. So all of this could be involved here, right? And the sun in your 12th house, you might have been experiencing some type of like feeling isolated, removing yourself from the world to a certain point as much as possible, not necessarily wanting to be seen or even visible. That can happen when the sun moves into the 12th house. But this 12th house is highlighting things. Again, this is the house that reflects deeper subconscious needs of that, for me, always relate back to ancestral patterns, family of origin, and anything before incarnation. So when the sun is here and it's in Libra, it's just talking lots about balance balance, meaning balance that is reflected here in this moon, and something coming to an end. So maybe some bad habits coming to an end, things that you can, now they're really being shown to you, they're really visible, and you can, because they're coming to light, they're going to help you obviously see them and work towards them, because Mars is here squaring from your 9th house of higher belief systems. Obviously travel and foreign lands and foreign countries, they're all here. But what Mars to me is speaking to me about in Cancer is about, again, because Cancer is the womb of the mother, right? And the home and the security, and that Mars here is talking about, prayer. As I put my hands together, it's such a, obviously, like, and you don't have to call it prayer, I call it prayer, but it could be positive affirmation. And what the message really is that I'm trying to convey to you is about breaking patterns that deal with negative constructs around mind and belief systems, and the negative ones that repeat are going to be really important. With Mars here it's going to go forward, it's going to come back here, and that's not till the end of the year, but this is what it's telling me. And it's opposite here to Pluto, which is almost going to cross here your 4th house. So this is the foundation of your chart, and it's the foundation, Scorpio, of like really getting to the root of the getting to what is the root of the, it's familial, right? It's even, this is 3rd house. It has to do with communication. It has to do with your immediate environment. It has to do with news and media. Yes. But it's like your immediate people here are being, if they're cousins, if they're aunties and uncles, but they're your best friends as well. The people that you really immediately surround yourself with are in this house. And it's posing information that comes from someplace else, not your immediate, not your immediate circle. And it is about your higher mind here. And so learning this construction so that maybe you don't end up blowing up at friends or family and doing, because this is very tense energy and it's very volatile energy, but it's energy of completion here with the moon and healing here with Chiron. So just keep that in mind. Just try to work through your own negative belief systems, your own constructs that hold you back, and try to work out things as constructively as possible with the people in your life that are really immediately in front of you. That's what I see, beloved Scorpio. Thank you for listening. I hope you follow me on my channel at Your Soul as well for a bigger breakdown. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You got especially Rising, because when you have Sagittarius on the Rising, it places the moon here in your 5th house of creativity, of romance, of adventure, of entrepreneurship, of taking a risk. Okay. And so it's connected here to Chiron by conjunction, and it's opposing the Sun here in your house of groups and friends and wishes and dreams in your higher house of money. The square from the moon is here to Mars in your 8th house, opposing Pluto in your 2nd house. So the moon is being highlighted, and something is being shown to you, perhaps about a risk or an investment or something that you took, like a risk that you took or an investment that you made before this. And that would have been the Aries new moon it was the solar eclipse on March 8th. So whatever happened on the solar eclipse of March 8th is what's really, like, go back to that time in your life and see if you can remember what was happening then for you right around, well, it was March 8th that the new moon in Aries happened. It happened to be a solar eclipse. It was at 19 degrees and 24 minutes of Aries, right? So the same here, just right here, it would have been right here. So something that was seeded then is coming now to fruition. It's being highlighted. So something that happened then, just think back and look back at that pattern or what happened there, and it's now being highlighted. It's going to involve a group of friends, maybe an online community, maybe it was an online investment, maybe something that it is your higher, maybe something that you did or a group of people that you were associated with. It could be an organization. It doesn't have to be online. It could be a group of friends. It's also your house of higher dreams and wishes, and the higher house of money is here, right? And so it's Libra house for you, and it's the Sun. So when the Sun is here, obviously it's wanting to bring harmony and harmony to the house that it's in. So that's your house group's friend group, and it's shining here, this moon, and something being shown and visible, something ending, it's coming to a culmination, and something healing here for you, because that's where Chiron is. And the square is here with Pluto in your 2nd house, also with Mars in your 8th. So these are two houses that also involve money. Obviously, all these houses are involved. The 2nd house involves money, how you resource yourself, the things that how you make your money, what you spend your money on, the things that you own, possess yourself, your own value system. And the 8th house is other people's resources, other people's money, investments, money from residual income or debt. It can be debt, it can be mortgages, it can be money from investments. So this is going to really play into this, whatever this is. Maybe it is an investment that you made coming to its culmination and end, and being shown here, this spark here and opposing Pluto. So there's going to be transformation for you in your 2nd house. And that's obviously what you should have been experiencing for this last while, as Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. It's been transforming your 2nd house. So it's like one last go and one last time with Mars opposing it. So it's transforming your belief system. It's transforming your value system, how you value self. And it's ending something here. Maybe it's ending a romance or bringing some type of healing, or maybe it's showing you something. All right, beloved Sag, thank you for watching and listening. I hope that you follow me on my channel at Your Soul's Well, where I can break this down for you even further. Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising, especially rising, because when you have Capricorn on the ascendant, it places the moon in your 4th house of family, of home, of property, of mother, of mothering, of being mothered, of foundation, of instinct, of inner instinct. That's all happening here. And that's where Chiron is. So if we want to talk mother wound, let's talk about the mother wound that, so just some type of healing needing to happen here for you. That's going to be very foundational to you, because this is the foundation of your chart. So it's the inner security, something being highlighted, something coming to an end in any of those areas that I've just mentioned. The sun is here opposing it in your 10th house. So it's been in your 10th house for this Libra season, and it's been highlighting this house. So maybe there was some type of public recognition, or just this warm energy in this house of the sun highlighting it, but it's highlighting now the moon, and the moon has come to culmination and something ending and something being healed here with Pluto here. The square is, with Chiron here, the square is here to Pluto, with Pluto being in your 1st house, right? And the opposition is here with Mars being in your 7th house of other. So this really involves you and other people, the public platform, and your inner security. So it's definitely something is happening with other people. There contracts that you have perhaps with them, or business contracts. It could be your significant other. It could be your business marketplace, if you're in business that way, where you sell your wares, where you do your business. So it's important to obviously work out tension and conflict, and the energy that Mars brings can be very angry, right? So in Cancer, we tend to suppress it, and we don't want to suppress energy like that. We want to be able to constructively work out what's going on. However we do that, if it's through physical activity, if it's through, like I've mentioned before, boxing or kickboxing or running or weightlifting or yoga or anything, if it's constructive talking. When I see it in the 7th house, I do think about Libra, and I do think about talking things through and talking things through with the other. And when I see Pluto in your 1st house, then this is all of this energy, and this grand cardinal cross is helping you develop something about yourself and transform something that is integral to the self. And this very foundational place here of your chart is also being affected by square. So it's a brilliant opportunity, Capricorn. This is a brilliant opportunity for real deep transformation of self, and to look at that. Okay, beloved Capricorn, and thank you for listening. I hope you follow me over on my channel at Your Soul's Well, where I can break this down even in more detail. Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising. You, especially rising, especially ascendant, because when you have ascendant Aquarius, it places the moon in your 3rd house, which is your immediate environment. It's people that are right around you immediately, whether they're in your immediate family, like your cousins, your siblings, your cousins, your aunties, uncles, but it's the people right in your neighborhood, people right in front of you, your best friends, right? The best friends right here in this group, the people that you talk to on a daily basis, the travel perhaps in your neighborhood is here. Information is here, communication is here, media is here, technology, like the phones that we use, our computers, oftentimes people say they're here. It could also be 11th house, but let's go with 3rd for this. This is some type of healing for you happening here, Aquarius rising, because this is a conjunction of Chiron to your moon is here, and the sun is here in your 9th house highlighting it. So something to do with your higher mind, your belief system is being highlighted highlighted here. It could be foreigners, foreign travel, foreign places, foreign studies, different languages, different cultures. But beliefs, let's go with the beliefs being highlighted, but it can involve any of those things, right? And it's just helping, the sun is really helping you see something to do with communication, even maybe travel, and something that you didn't see before. And it is oftentimes full moons can highlight and bring to light things that we were not able to see before. And so in any one of those areas, something could be highlighted for you that you didn't see. And it's going to be very healing. It is connected to Mars here as well as Pluto by square. And that's where the Grand Cross is for you, right? Pluto in your 12th, which is very deep and psychological. So it might not even be that evident to other people because Pluto is in your 12th, just almost going to cross over again into your first house. So Pluto here, right on the ascendant, moving into Aquarius is just looking at that. There's such an impact there, right? So it's moving back into your sign Aquarius. It's not going to be long until that happens. It's going to be on November 20th. Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius for once and for all. Okay, so on Tuesday, November 19th, or perhaps Wednesday, November 20th, depending on where you are in the world, Pluto moves into Aquarius for this last time. It won't go back to Capricorn ever in our lifetime, and this is so significant for everybody, and it's really significant for you, Aquarius. It's so significant for you because it's you, right? So there's lots to break down about that. I mean, expect a complete transformation of yourself and your life, and of course, all Aquarian things, all Aquarian related things, which deals more with mundane. And it's not going to happen overnight. It never happens overnight. It's going to happen, over the course of 20 years. But with Pluto being in your 12th house, it's a deeply psychological house. It involves always, to me, it's the house of the ancestors. It's everything prior to this incarnation. It is an invisible house. It can be known as a difficult house, and having Pluto there probably hasn't been that easy. I can't imagine it has been that easy, but it's subtle a lot of times. It's very subtle. And the opposition to Mars is here in your 6th house, and it's about your day-to-day habits. It's about what you do on a daily basis to maintain health, for work, just the things that are very consistent that you do. And so it's really important when I see Mars there, because Mars can, right? I mean, Mars is inflammation, and in Cancer, how it's depressed in your 6th house can, Mars in the 6th house can lead to complications with health. So in the 6th house opposing Pluto, it's really important to maintain your, to keep and continuously work through conflict, anger, and any type of disputes it's this one to me, it does involve other people because it's squaring your 3rd house, right? Of communication and other people. But in the 6th house, it's about the daily habits that you're going to take to maintain your own health and the things that you're going to do and whatever that means to you, whatever you want to do. Cancer, your 6th house Cancer, you might, it's very internal for you. And those things, you might not display them to the world, and they might be very, there could be lots of different things that you could do here, but just always to remember, working out conflict and doing it as constructively as possible whenever possible, because this is a short fuse here. Eventually, when it comes into contact by exactment with Pluto, you don't want it blowing up, right? Especially since it's your 12th house, and that's a very subconscious house, and your 3rd house here, friends and other people, immediate relationships, and the 9th house of belief systems, right? Squaring here. So highlighting things that we think and maybe things that need to change, and it could do with a number of things. I always do go to looking at any negative pattern, any redundant pattern, and changing that always for the better, so that we have a better and brighter outlook on our life, right? That's always what the goal of our own evolvement is about. Beloved Aquarius, thank you for listening. I hope that you follow me on my channel over at Your Soul as well for a bigger breakdown of your sign. Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, especially rise, because when you have Pisces on the ascendant, it places the moon here in your 2nd house of your values, your resources, how you make money, how you spend money, the things you spend money on, right? So it's highlighting something here for you, Pisces rising, about all of these areas and about your value, how you value yourself, the things that you value, right? And the sun is here in your opposite house of other people's resources, other people's money, maybe your partner's resources, debt, taxes, all that stuff, investment, any type of residual income that we make is here. So when the sun is here and highlighting this part of your house and it's highlighting down to here, there's going to be an ending, a culmination of the moon coming into culmination, and then ending a cycle for you here. So perhaps it's ending something to do with, like I said, your own value system, but it could be something to do with how you make your own money. The moon, Mars is squaring to the moon here from the 5th house, which is taking risks, entrepreneurship. It could be adventure or romance. And then Pluto is squaring from the 11th house of your greater groups of friends and communities and the greater house of money. So there's transformation happening here for you through Pluto going through your 11th house, and that should have been happening already for quite a long time, since 2008. And here with Mars opposing it, it is again about finding ways to work out constructively, finding ways to work out anger, suppressed emotion, so that we don't come across as passive aggressive. And then the worst thing is, and it's not about coming across a certain way, because I don't think any of us should ever worry about how other people perceive us. Honestly, it's about the reality of what is what's important, how we really are behaving and what really is happening to us internally, and how we and our relationships, the actual relationships that are important to us, and how we want to show up in those relationships for ourselves and for the people that are important around us. And for it's this tension between Pluto and Mars, which is squaring both the sun and the moon and creating the cardinal cross here for you in your chart, is involving your higher house of money, yes, and friends and groups and online communities, organizations, societies, and here your also wishes and dreams, and your house of risk and risk taking. So, and it's going to highlight something for you and end something for you in your house of finances and personal resources and values. But Chiron is here, and so this is where the healing is. There's going to be tremendous healing for you through this. It's going to heal something for you through this, and it's going to be about how you make your own money and how you resource yourself and the things that you value. It's going to involve groups of friends and communities, and it's going to involve some type of risk taking, or maybe a romance or some type of affair or some type of love interest. So just keep that in mind. Okay, beloved Pisces, thank you for listening. I hope that you follow me on my channel over at Your Soul's Well. I thank you everybody for being here again with me on Nadiya Shah's channel. Thank you, Nadiya, for all of the tremendous work you have done on YouTube and all your social media platforms to help expand the awareness of astrology throughout the world. I really love you for that, and I love your open heart and your generosity and how much you do for all of us, allowing us to be on your channel and to help expose us to the world. It's just so kind of you. It really is. It really shows your generous heart and spirit. And thank you, Gilbert, for your help always, your consistent, beautiful, wonderful help. And I just bless you both, and I thank you. And I end this with sending you so much love and sending the whole world so much love.